Thank you, Larry, for that very kind introduction. And thank you, everyone, for coming here. Thank you to the Breakfast Committee who made this all possible. I want to acknowledge, first off, the presence of Andrew Getreyer, who's here. Andrew and the Rutgers Hillel, when we first arrived on campus way back in 2005, he opened up the doors of Hillel to us and allowed us to give our classes there, and is actually a wonderful friend to us, and we appreciate that. Since then, we have actually expanded beyond Hillel. We grew out of Hillel, we went to the Student Center, we grew out of the Student Center, and we are now at our current host, which is Congregation Poalei Tzedek, where Rabbi Abraham Maikoff has very graciously allowed us to use the shul every week. We come there with our students, and has always been a friend to us, and we're very grateful for all that you do for us as well. A few weeks ago, I was at a bris of a friend of mine who I'd kept up with since high school, which is, this is going back 20 years. And I had the opportunity to see some friends who I hadn't seen since high school. And we got into, what do you do, what do you do? And I explained that, now I run a Kiruv organization in Rutgers University. So they said, what's that? What is Kiruv? What is that all about? What do you do? And for the first time in, probably a long time, I had the opportunity to tell him what I actually do. What do we do all day? So, and I told him about the shiurim we give, and the certain topics that we teach about, and the Shabbatons that we run, and the trips that we have. And afterwards, as I was driving home, I think I thought about it a little bit more, and I realized that I wasn't giving him the complete picture. The word Kiruv has a lot of different meanings to a lot of different people, and a Kiruv organization can have different connotations. But if you look at Chazal, if you look at what our rabbis taught us about what Kiruv is, the earliest reference that we find to Kiruv is a statement from Hillel in Pirkei Avos. It says, Talmidav shel Aharon. You should be a student of Aharon. Ohev Shalom, Rodev Shalom, Ohev Esabrios and Mekarven LaTorah, which means that you should love Shalom, you should love peace, you should run after peace. You can't just love it, you have to pursue it. Ohev Esabrios, you have to love people, Mekarven LaTorah, and bring them, and then only after that step you can bring them closer to Torah. And what essentially it's laying out is really a 4-step plan to do Kiruv. And that is the earliest model that we have found. And what's interesting is that when I was reflecting on my conversation with this friend, I realized I had only told him 1/4 of the story. We teach Torah, we give classes, we run Shabbatons, but that's only 1/4 of it. The other 3/4 is comprised of building the relationship with the student, really understanding where they're coming. A true Ohev Esabrios is when you really understand what the person is about. And really, this job of Kiruv that we speak about, that is so important, it cannot be done by one person, can't be done by a staff of 5, it can only be done by many, many people. To develop true relationships with people, to develop a true kesher, which you're able to really effectively teach Torah, that requires many, many people. It really requires an army. And Baruch Hashem, we're very, very lucky to be blessed to live in Highland Park here, where Baruch Hashem, we have an army. We have a very willing and a very able army of people who are willing to open their homes, to teach Torah. We have, Baruch Hashem, we have Shabbatons in the neighborhood. We host over 70 students sleeping in the neighborhood, which is a logistical nightmare, but it's also an amazing, the response of the community has been incredible, and the willingness to open their homes and deal with last-minute cancellations or last-minute add-ons, it's really remarkable. And it's not only with Shabbos hosting, it's with chavrusas as well. People are willing to give up of their time to come to learn with our students on a consistent basis. We have one person here in the community who every single morning learned with one of our students for an hour a day, which is incredible. The student came here to Highland Park, he learned with this person for an hour every single day. And it goes beyond just learning and hosting Shabbos meals as well. we have one of our volunteers. In a week from now, I'm actually going to Israel. I'm staffing an Israel trip. My partner, Mayor Goldberg, was not able to be here today because he's actually in Israel right now. So I'm going to be switching with him this Thursday. I'm going to Israel for Shavuos, and I'm going to be finishing up the last 11 days of the trip. But we have one person from the community who actually staffed our Israel trip in this winter, gave the rabbis a break, which is an unbelievable thing. He staffed it, he followed up with the students, he went out with them, he had them over for his house for Shabbos. And it goes beyond that as well. There are some girls in the neighborhood who took some of our girls on a skirt shopping trip. They took them, you know, if you want to buy a skirt, this is like a relatively new experience for some people. Where do you go? Where do you get the right skirts? You know, how do you find the right places? A few weeks ago, one of our girls got a bat mitzvah. She got a Hebrew name, and one of the members of our community, he sponsored that. He took care of that, and they made a kiddush for her after davening. It was a beautiful thing. This past week, actually, we had a mini crisis, which not too many people know about. But again, one of our volunteers, she drove out to the girl's house. She spent hours with her, you know, a lot of tears with her. You know, the Mesiras Nefesh, these are just some of the examples of what this community and the volunteers from this community have done. And it's really incredible, it's an incredible paradigm, an incredible model of Ahavas Habrios. And our role as the RJX staff, as the rabbis here, is yes, we have to teach Torah, yes, we have to give them the classes and try to inspire them and answer their questions as best we can. But the main part of it is it really comes from the Ahavas Habrios, which can only be done, it can't be done by just the staff of 5. It has to be done by a whole community and really an army of people. So we're very grateful to this community for all that you have done for us. And you know, when Rabbi Akiva, we all know the story of Rabbi Akiva, that he gathered together many students, and he left his wife actually for many years to learn Torah, and he came back with 24,000 students, and everyone was giving him kavod, giving him honor, and he said, no, don't give me honor. Shali v'shalachem shalahi. All that I have done, all that I have accomplished is really shalah, it's hers. It's referring to his wife that let him learn. And similarly, I think all of these shidduchim that we have made between our students and the community, it really was kicked off when we first came to the community by Eli and Iris. Eli and I had actually gone to yeshiva together in Or Yerushalayim. So Eli came over to me and welcomed me, was very warm to me, and he said, what can we do to help? Just tell me, what can we do to help? And that year, he stuck his neck out, hosted a parlor meeting for us, introduced us to many of the members of the community, who in turn introduced us to many other members of the community, who in turn have really built our army. So we're incredibly indebted to the Borgers, to Eli and Iris, and I would like to ask Eli and Iris to come up and to receive our Nadiv Lev Award for 2012.